Please.
All right. Well, I wanted to ask you about, we sort of broached the subject yesterday of defending for guys late in games, the DH, all of this. I want to ask you, what are the downsides to what you would see as over-managing or doing too much on a
Just
day-to-day
that.
basis?
Just that. I think at times, trying to, it's like anything. When you try to do too much, it works against you, even as a manager. We talk about a player trying to do too much, swing too hard, a pitcher trying to overthrow the ball. If you overmanage, it sort of gets frustrating, right? From even though whether it's a manager, a coach, a player, a pitcher, you might not see it yourself, but the others see it, right? They see that you're trying too hard. You're trying to overthrow the ball. You're trying to overswing. You're trying to be overly strategic. There's no need for that. Works against you over the long haul, and even in the short term.
Buddy, when I was thinking about Crow last year, and he felt that early on he put too much thought into the adjustment between home and road. Is there anything that you can do to help the hitters like a Bryant, like a Gritchick, guys with some power? Is there anything to say to them or do to kind of prepare them for the mental challenge of going back and forth?
From a physical standpoint, or from an
actual baseball standpoint, and
physical is baseball,
yeah.
Right? Or you mean from the pitches that they see?
Let's go both. Especially first the pitches that they see.
Okay. This is a super long conversation if you really want to delve into it, right? So let's keep it short. But
can we delve into it another time?
Yeah, maybe. But I'm saying a well-thrown pitch at sea level and a well-thrown pitch at altitude, I think sort of act the same. If thrown correctly as far as spin, release point, delivery, all those things, right? Where it affects the outcome of a pitch is like if you throw a poor one, right? If you throw a poor breaking ball that doesn't have great spin, that isn't released properly, that's where the action on the pitch will be hindered by altitude. And it won't be as hindered at much at sea level if you throw a poor pitch. So that's it in a nutshell, right? So I sort of look at it that way when I'm talking to, both pitchers and hitters. Now, the physical component is real, right? And that's been something that the Rockies have addressed since day one. And Keith and the training staff and the strength guys do a great job of educating our players and all the things that they need to do on a regular basis, coming from outside of Denver, back into Denver, road trip to road trip. So, whether it's sleep, whether it's hydration, whether it's nutrition, whether it's post-game activities to recover, all those things come into play for our guys. And I've witnessed it firsthand, 81 times or more, and witnessed it from the other side as a visiting player, way back when I played, as a coach when I came in here with the Angels, and when I came in here with the Padres. So I think the league is aware of it, meaning the other teams, the other players. I know we're obviously aware of it because it's our reality. So guys get educated quickly by Keith and the others who are, they have great credibility and knowledge of that, more so than me.
And one of the things Crum was talking about, he said that sometimes you notice it more on the fastball at home, where maybe if it's not thrown with the right spin, it doesn't act like it should.
Right.
Is it not just, so it's not just the breaking ball, right?
Sure, it can be the fastball too. Sure.
but you'll be surprised. I'm going to ask about another young ball player.
No way, a young prospect?
A prospect on your roster.
You love
hoping
that.
to make the roster.
You love that, Drew.
I love that. I love that spot because a lot of guys
It's exciting. It's hope.
show what they can do.
Sure.
I'm curious about Jake Bird. What he's
As you
shown
should be.
Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah.
He's been, he jumped on the radar last year, no doubt. I mean, like I say all the time, we follow game reports. We talk to minor league managers. We talk to minor league personnel, our coordinators, player development staff about our players. And they said, he was throwing the ball really well. And we'd sort of seen that coming too. The organization had seen that coming. His velocity has picked up from his days at UCLA. Sort of been an upward trend of velocity, generally just an upward trend of his stuff. And last year, AA, AAA, fall league. Saw him in the fall league, and now I've seen him this spring, and he's gaining a lot of momentum based on his performance. I mean, he's doing great. Not going to make the team, but he has put himself directly in the mix of guys that we potentially look to call up if he throws well, right? I mean, the season is different than spring training, right? A full AAA season or a full major league season is different than AA, AAA, fall league, spring training. I mean, this is going to be a good test for him, and gotta hope he handles it because he's got a good arm, and if he continues to throw the ball like he's doing now, he's going to pitch in the big leagues.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask.
You jumping in on Bird?
Yeah, because the ball strike ratio, from what I've seen here, is pretty good. What have you seen over the course of you coming up with that?
Well, again, it's players determine their own fate through performance, right? I mean, he's been given an opportunity to, take the mound, and I think pretty consistently he's done a really good job. So I mean, the performance speaks for itself. And then you look at the stuff, right, from a scouting standpoint, and from our perspective as coaches, it's legit. Velocity, movement on the fastball, command of the ball, strikes, a couple different breaking balls, changeup. So it's real stuff, and it's been a good performance.
I know you're still tinkering around with the lineup a little bit. You still got some time, but what do you like about what you did with the top of the order tonight, having Blackman, Bryant, McMahon, 1, 2, 3?
Well, we've done that. We've done that. This spring a number of times. Again, we probably don't have the prototypical true leadoff hitter, right? Unless you go down to, if Hampson does what he has shown before at times in stretches. Right, with you go back to if Hampy has a little bit more of an on-base component, combine that with the speed, a little bit of power, it's he's a guy that could fit at the top if he's playing this game. But with Charlie, again, experience in that role, knows he's comfortable leading off the game. It's a lot different now without the pitcher. It's more of a for me the lineup is more of circular than linear. He's going to get the extra at bat as he goes through each and every game if he's leading off, and that's a good thing. Charlie's a good hitter. He's a good offensive player. So, and you say the same thing about Chris. Very good offensive player. Has hit second a lot with the Cubs, with the Giants. He'll get up in extra time, and hopefully the back of the order, those guys get on base. So Chuck and Chris and. Can hit with guys on base. You want your best hitters hitting the most.
Mm-hmm. Have you bought into, I know some teams are utilizing the 2-hole instead of the 3-hole where they put who they would call their best hitter. Where are you at on that?
That's, the quantitative analysis people tell you that's, the place to put the guy. I mean, it depends on your personnel. But I think it just shows that, I think from an quant standpoint is that he's going to get up more times during the course of the year. You can and you want those guys up there, your best hitters up there. And then again, I think it makes sense a lot with a universal DH. Again, depending on the the personnel, but that makes sense. And that's why a lot of National League teams at times you saw the manager hit the pitcher 8th instead of 9th. So in essence, the second hole hitter became the third hole hitter if the pitcher was hitting 8th.
I want to ask you back on the bullpen. Now, obviously, the numbers overall last year are probably not where you want to be, but
No.
I think really first half, second half was a lot stronger. What
Yes.
for you mostly accounted for that, and how much of that can be carried into? Because I know it's a lot of different players, a lot of
Yeah, I
moving
think
pieces.
well, that's just it. I think Stevenson was better in the second half. Gilbreth was better in the second half. I think Kinley was a little bit more consistent in the second half. Estevez was pretty consistent all year. Shashin was pretty well. Threw the ball pretty well the whole year. Bard was a little variable, but still very good at certain. Very good at certain times. If the guys stay on the team and they stay healthy, they're going to pitch 55 to 70 games, and you need the majority of those games to be productive, right? No runs, or at the very least 1 run, right? Not to give up the 2 or 3 run inning when they come in to have when they have an inning. That's what we got to stay away from. So, minimizing the damage if they happen to give up a run or 2. Obviously it depends on the score of the game, right? Hey, if we're up 5-1, and Kinley gives up a run in the 7th, and it's 5-2 as opposed to 3 or 4, that's okay. It's not great because he wants to put up a 0, but it's okay. He can't give up 3 to make the score 5-4, or any pitcher. So we got the consistent performance by, more than 2 or 3 guys. It's got to be 5 or 6. Same with the lineup. We talk about all the time, right? Can't have 2 or 3 guys swinging well and 5 or 6 guys not. You're not going to score.
Hey, buddy,
You can't have 5 or 6 relievers throwing poorly and 2 or 3 throwing good because you're going to use 3 or 4 guys at night. Yeah, go ahead, Drew.
Arsenal-wise, with Bard against left-handed bats, and I'm sure you've had multiple discussions about.
Yeah, you assume we do, which is good.
I
Yes.
assume you do.
Yes,
In fact,
we
I'm
noticed that
beyond
as
and
well.
say, I know you do.
Yes, how about that?
And Drew, you have ESPN.
John Wade on my hotel TV. But what will help him counter the numbers?
Down. 96, 97 at the knees with some movement, breaking ball down. I think Daniel has a tendency to, let the ball sort of come up. We've seen it. Down, pop one up when he needs to, but down. Statistically, and you guys maybe you can. We sort of look at like some of the data that's in front of us. Like every day we get data. And the data shows when he's down, left or right, he's really good.
So it's less pitch selection and more execution.
No doubt. Yes. And that's really the case for most guys.
Sure.
Pitch selection I think can be overemphasized at times. It's more about execution of a certain pitch.